And here we go. We're going to talk about power, about energy. One of the things we're hearing so much, it's hurricane season. We're hearing about generators. We have a generator expert. He is the president, founder of a company called DEPCO Power Systems. Dick Davis. Hey, Dick, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, there you go. Generators. We have never, in 383 shows, had anyone talk about generators. You're an expert on generators. Now, you're in the commercial end of the business, but let's tell people, DEPCO, about your company.
Well, we're in our 30 year of business. We're locally based here in Houston. Been in business, like I said, 30 years. We're mainly more industrial, heavy duty for data centers, hospitals, and that larger type generators. However, we are here to help friends, families, and existing customers with their residential home needs.
And it's so important as far as the power. We saw it just a few months ago, it seems like, with the freeze. But going back the clock 30 years, were generators perceived as important as they are perceived right now? And right now, they're on everybody's radar, as you know, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 30 years ago, we weren't in the diesel generator business. We were mainly just in the diesel engine parts business and engines. And then there was a certain year came along, Y2K, and the world was going to come to the end, and everybody thought they needed backup power. So that kind of put us on the map back in 1999 when we first started really dealing in generator sets, and it's just been a tremendous growth area for us ever since then. As you have more power demands because of electric cars, data centers, and so forth, the needs are just extremely becoming way more important than they ever have. And unfortunately, as we experienced during the freeze this few months ago, that ERCOT is not prepared for cold weather.
It's like they're already making excuses.
I know.
I've never seen it before.
Nor, of course, we're coming into hurricane season. So I always tell people that a home generator is like the best insurance policy they can buy. You spend a lot of, money on your homes, you furnish them, you do all of that, but yet you just don't take the next step, which is buying a backup generator set. I just feel like it gives you such a peace of mind. It gives you security. You're out of town, your lights stay on, your food stays frozen in the freezers. I got a lot of deer meat and fish in mine, and I don't like to lose that. And it just gives me a peace of mind.
Well, I'm just thinking maybe you'd bestow some of that deer meat on me. But just saying, now in the meantime, give us the bullet points on residential home generators. People think about them now because they're in the news, they've lost power. Most of us don't know anything about it. What are the bullet points that someone should know in their home when they think about getting a generator?
Well, I think the most important thing is it's not that expensive, nor is it that complicated to put a backup standby generator at your house. I always recommend to do a generator that will satisfy the whole home's needs, definitely, because it basically costs the same amount to install one that doesn't do the whole house as it does one that does the whole house. And it's just an incremental price increase for that extra kW, that extra capacity. So if you're going to do one, want to do the whole house.
And what are the types of generators from the residential standpoint that people should think about?
Well, there's numerous different brands. We like to stay with kind of the big two, Caterpillar and Cummins, but there's numerous other ones. Generac does a great job in the residential market. They've got a very competitive priced unit that is really dominates kind of that market. However, since we're more on the industrial side, we like Caterpillar and Cummins. They're our two biggest, most popular brands, great resale values and so forth along those lines. You've got we've got three different choices of fuel. You can go with the diesel, which I would only recommend if it's your last choice. Natural gas, if you've got pipeline gas at your house, that's the most reliable. I've never, in 30 years of business, seen an issue with people not being able to have natural gas at their homes. And then a propane would be the third and final choice. Diesel, if you have to go with a diesel unit, you unfortunately experience places of getting the fuel. Gas stations don't have power. You can't get diesel. So natural gas would definitely be my first recommendation, propane second, and last third.
As far as noise, we know that the homes, sometimes when the power goes out and we don't have a generator, we can hear the other guys down the road. So is there one that's quieter than most, or how do we consider that?
Sure. Most manufacturers have what they call a residential grade, and it will be a sound attenuated unit, which I highly recommend because it is bad enough to have lights on at your house and you're watching TV and you're comfortable in the air conditioner. and your neighbors are over there dark and then having to listen to your generator run, it's pretty annoying to them. So I definitely recommend spending a little bit extra costs and getting some good sound attenuation for your unit.
And as far as if someone's out there and they have a business, a commercial application, you're serving them. So what should they think about when a bigger company that needs a generator and needs that backup power? What about restaurants? Are you helping restaurants?
I mean, being in the business, not just because I'm in the business, but I just think backup power is just a necessity now. I don't think when you look at the loss of business, if you're in business, the dollars and cents are there to have a backup generator. I mean, if you're a fuel station and you lose power and you can't sell fuel, I mean, it's just foolish for me to think that people don't have them in their businesses, especially data centers, hospitals,
dialysis centers.
All of those are mandatory. Redundancy is you have to have it to be in those types of businesses. But even like our business, why be without power? There's no reason not to.
As far as we're hearing about it, the influx of people coming to Houston, Texas, has that had an impact on your business?
You know, since we're not in the residential side, it's not affecting us as much. But I mean, we've had a successful 2020. We're having a great 2021. COVID really hasn't affected us. We were an essential business, so we had all hands on deck. And I think just that overall, the U.S. economy is booming, and I think it's nationwide, and people are out, spending money.
Are you having any trouble getting parts for the generators or generators themselves?
Oh, absolutely. Like today, we placed an order for one of my friends' home in Florida, and he won't get that generator set till November. He's pushing to try to get it for hurricane season. I said, John, there's no way.
Good thing he doesn't need any 2x4s. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's another story.
It seems like everything's in shortage. I'm amazed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the residential side, since the freeze and hurricane season, you've got both of those on top of one another. Then you put COVID. Deliveries are just extended. I mean, they're going to be pushing probably a year here shortly.
So now's the time. You better get the order in.
Now's the time.
Find out. How long does it take someone, whether it's commercial or residential, how long does it take for the person coming out to assess the need to say, look, to run your whole house, you're going to need X amount of what, KW?
KW is right.
Like
you can almost, I mean, there's all sorts of formulas that you can plug in, how many ACs you have, how many, electric dryer, gas dryer, how many freezers, do you have a pool, and it's going to calculate it automatically. So right. It's pretty simple to do. Installation can be done as quick as a week if you have the right supporting cast to do the work.
And of all the things you could be doing 30 years ago, how did you get into the equipment business and the generator world?
It's a long story. I'll do the elevator version. Basically, I majored in accounting like Jordan did just because I wanted the number background. I was going to be the next Gordon Gekko. This was back in
now you got the hairstyle now, just a little bit. I'm seeing the Gordon.
The movie Wall Street was out.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to work for Payne Weber. While I was in college, I was working for some guys that were in the diesel engine business and was enjoying that and being pretty successful at it. So get my license, go to work for Payne Weber, lasted about a year, and the whole time I was wanting to be back in the diesel engine business. So 1991, my partner, who's deceased now, started it, and here we are 30 years later.
We're talking with Dick Davis with DEPCO Power Systems. Dick, before we close out the segment, what else should we know?
Power up, absolutely. That's all that needs to be said. Power up.
The password is backup power. If someone wants to reach out to you, Dick, what should they do?
3 different ways. Go to our website, depco.com, or sales@depco.com, or 713-675-6100.
There you go, 713-675-6100. Thank you, Dick, for being on the show.
Thank you, Bill.